everybody. Welcome. Today, we have an incredible story of resilience and business transformation for you, where I am joined by Mark Hulton and Will Davies from HBD Partners. And they are here today to share their story with you. So they first joined our Rocket program in January 2022. And after experiencing success, they made their decision to leave the program only to rejoin when faced with new challenges. And this is going to be their story about how they doubled their team size, restructured their business, and turned things around after facing a tough recruitment market. So let's dive in. So Mark and Will, thank you both so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
So to start off, could you tell us, the listeners, a little bit about when you first joined the Rocket program and what your initial goals were?
So initially we wanted to grow, so scale basically, and we wanted to get a better understanding of good practice in order to help us do that most effectively. That was one part of it. Another part of it was also to engage with other recruitment business owners who were in the same boat looking to do the same thing. And we found it really helpful.
Yeah, it really helped us with a strong foundation to grow the business and the team.
Great. So what were the main goals that you had when you moved forward then? So it was business growth and expanding your team. Was there anything else in terms of those main goals when you first came on board?
I think we wanted to get a better understanding of how we could develop our process. So I think we had a pretty good structure, a pretty good process in place, but the opportunity to learn how to really fine tune it and make it better was another reason why we joined the program.
And to get the team to use our processes consistently as well, because that was a key area that we wanted to improve in is to do things consistently.
Yeah, I love that. Okay, and what results did you achieve during that initial time with the program?
Well, we doubled the size of the team. We doubled the size of our billings. So yeah, I mean, we moved into a new office. Like there was so many wins, so much transformation that we saw in our business off the back of that. It was nuts. Yeah.
That's great, epic. So what led you to decide to leave the program after completing it?
But we felt we knew it all. I think we thought we'd learned a lot and we'd taken a lot away from the program, and we wanted to then try and spend the time implementing as much as we could at that point. Do you agree?
Yeah, we'd implemented a lot of process and structure, and we got to the point, we thought actually now we can run with it.
Yeah.
And it comes back to that consistency again. I think that's, once we left the program, that's where the consistency started to go. But we got to the point where we thought, actually, we're in a good position. It was a launch pad now to take the business to the next level.
I think also sometimes when things are going well, you probably don't scrutinize the business as much as you would when things aren't going so well. I think we probably fell into that trap. So it's been a really good learning curve in that respect. I think we fell into that trap where we thought the sun's shining, everything's moving forward. We can do this ourselves now.
Yeah. And I think that's quite natural, isn't it? When you're on that high, it's a little bit like when you do a diet, and you start to see the weight coming off and you think, yeah, this is great. I'm really making progress here. And then you tend to allow that extra, chocolate biscuit to come in, don't you? Or that glass of wine that maybe you've been holding off on during the week or whatever it is. And then all of a sudden you start to, you don't actually see the decline initially. You're not even aware of it. But as you go on, then you think, I might just have another one today, that's okay. And then it starts to be that slippery slope. And once you're already on that sort of trajectory downhill, it sort of comes up, meets you from behind before you even realize it, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, things start to happen or slightly unravel.
Yeah.
And then,
And
yeah.
what did you, because you noticed that, so things, you know, initially were good, and then you sort of faced with what you saw was this unraveling or things starting to go a little bit south. What was it specifically that you saw happen?
Well, the market turned for us, which was a key impact. And certain process that we hadn't done consistently, in particular business development.
Yeah.
We didn't have a strong business development machine. And so when the market started to dwindle, then we were on the back foot. And then that led into us into NFI dropping, and, you know, month to month.
And then it's always a challenge, isn't it? Because you don't, and no one else wants to be. Everyone wants to be in a busy environment, and when the office isn't busy, and when the figures aren't looking so good, and you know, it doesn't create kind of positivity, and then that's hard from a team perspective. So yeah, it wasn't an ideal scenario.
No. And trying to implement new things then when the team is down and the business isn't coming in, and it feels forced, then, you know, when then if that business development machine, for instance, had been in place already, it wouldn't have been new to them and they wouldn't have been resistant to it. But then trying to implement that in downtime was not easy for us.
Yeah, because then you're making some changes, and that involves getting people on board, doesn't it? And it's sort of like when you're cruising, it's nice, isn't it? But when things got to get a bit more challenging, you have to do things in a different way, like you say. And so sometimes that can be faced with some resistance initially from people. And
it feels like managing. Yeah,
it's knowing, it's getting that balance, isn't it, when you're making that change between doing that, sort of moving straight from being, you know, 1 minute we're quite relaxed, things are going well, to all of a sudden there's changes, or we need to make changes to come in line with what is going on in the market, or come in line with where the position of the business is. And actually what we can often do then is we jump from, if you like, here where it's nice and comfortable, to all of a sudden we're talking about key success factors, or we're talking about targets that need to be hit, or we're talking about things that maybe weren't there before. And that puts fear into a sense of element of fear into people in the team, doesn't it? It's like, oh no, it's change. What are we going to do? And if they don't understand why that would be or what the benefit is, it's hard to get them to come on that journey with you. There's a way of doing it.
That's consistency, isn't it? And we weren't some of the things consistently. So
we weren't following a consistent direction, and we weren't communicating that direction, I think, effectively.
Yeah. Okay. And so that probably leads us on to my question about what made you decide to return to the programme.
I think it's the importance of having that support network there and that mentoring. And I think we thought and decided that we didn't need it anymore. And actually, I think we both came to the conclusion that it's not something that you can just turn off and turn on when you want it. The benefit of it is such that it's a consistency again. So it's one of the most beneficial things that we can have is the mentoring aspect and the support aspect, because we don't know it all at all, and we need to understand from other people in the group and from our amazing coach Jane, to be objective, be rational, have creativity, look into things in a different way. It's just invaluable.
But also helping us to focus our minds and focus our attention as well. And that's been that's the one benefit I think I've certainly had from Centered Excellence, is getting us back on track and focused on what's actually important and what's going to impact our business positively.
It's so true, isn't it? I think as well, as you're saying, when things aren't going the way you want them to go, it's so easy for all of us, you know, in that role where you're that leader, you're desperate to find the solution. And so what can happen is, when you don't know what it is that's going on, if you like, you can't always pinpoint exactly what it is yourself because you're in it. And so it's quite hard to see, as you're saying there, Will, what's the one thing or what's the priority area that actually we need to focus on first? Because you've probably got lots of ideas about where you think the problem lies or what needs to be changed. But then it's, well, how do we actually put that into a plan and into an order that's going to give us the greatest return or change as fast as possible? because there's lots of things that you could do, but you can't do all of them at once because then it becomes too much for people. So you do have to take a very aligned and strategic viewpoint on what you're going to do and how you're going to do that. So what was, when you came back in, what was one of the first things that you focused on? What was one of the things that came out from that?
I think what changed, well, the way you look at the course in some ways had changed, which we found really beneficial. So we worked out that we're a client-led business, not a candidate-led business at the moment. And I think that really helped us focus our minds in terms of what do we need to do and what do we need to look at now to get us moving forward in the right direction.
And mindset, that was a really quick win, because when we'd stepped away from centered excellence, we got involved, the business going really well, we were really happy. Then when the downturn, then you start to panic. And so having that positive mindset again, knowing, talking to other business owners, talking to Jane, talking to you guys, that was a real help as well, to see that there is a way out and this is how to get there. And then, that has a massive impact as well on the business, just our own mindset.
Yeah, definitely. It's it can take you down rabbit holes, can't it? Very much so. And it's being surrounded by people that are on that similar journey as well, isn't it? Or have that sort of growth mindset, because as we say, when you're backed into that corner, you go into that flight or fight mode, which is really difficult then to lift ourselves up and above that and stay positive when we're in it.
And also knowing that there are other people on the course who had ups and downs, and it's not a straight line, a straight upward curve. There is a bit of deviation. Yeah,
absolutely. You're right. When you think about the direction that you're going in, it's not always that straight line to get to the goal that you want. Sometimes you've got to, it takes you up and down or around to get there, but it's actually
about a learning experience.
Yeah, definitely. So since we're engaging with the program, what are some of the most significant changes that you have created in your business or seen?
Fan club.
Yeah, so we're putting together, we've started working on it, and actually we had a session on it yesterday about putting together a process map of how we want to message our fan club consistently from now. And we found that with the engagement rate from the messages that we've sent out already, it's been massive. So some around 65% return on that, which is brilliant. What else?
Profit Pulse.
Yeah.
So we're doing that now regularly every month.
Yes.
Which is really helpful to help us understand our business, and also the little, the profit levers as well that we can tweak to make changes and understand our ratios and our figures. That's been really
I'm getting a huge benefit from the breathwork sessions as well. The one we had, I think it was last
Thursday.
Week. Yeah, it was amazing.
Yeah, it's amazing, isn't it? And again, that links into mindset, because when you're in that state, breathwork brings you into that parasympathetic nervous system where you're relaxed. And as soon as you're relaxed, you're more open and ideas flow. Whereas when we're tense and we're working in our sympathetic nervous system, which is, breathing up from that chest area, we go into that fight and flight mode. And when you go into that mode, your peripheral vision is actually reduced by right down to 8%. So, when people say, I feel like I can't see the wood for the trees, that's actually literally what happens to you from a physiological point of view. So it's not to be underestimated, the power of breath work and how you use that.
There's something else I thought about as well. So we've put our consultant on the training program that you guys.
Yes. Yeah, the academy. Great.
She hit her annual target in August. She's done phenomenally well. And she'd never really done this kind of recruitment before she joined our business. So that's been like a huge success.
So maximizing not just you guys getting the support and the mentoring and the training, but actually passing that down, and yes, us supporting your team to upskill and to make those changes in the business as well. So you're hitting it from all levels. Amazing. And what else have you seen in terms of figures or changes there? You mentioned about your consultant. What's the business scene?
So Q3, we hit 164% of our target, which we never expected to do. You know, when you're looking into the next quarter at the end of the last one, we never expected to be there. So that's been amazing as well.
Great. And anything else that you've done within the time in the program that's changed the business trajectory or results? You mentioned about Academy, you mentioned about a fan club. Any other strategies or changes that you've made?
I think for us, it was streamlining a lot of the process that we put in initially. We realized there was too much, there was too many processes, too many, we were looking at figures and stats a lot and confusing the team. So we've streamlined a lot of that and have focused on, doing less, but doing it better.
Yes.
Sense.
Yes.
So the team have a clear idea now what's expected of them and how they're measured. We know what we're looking at now and what things we're measuring. So that's helped us, to make things a lot easier to understand, as it were, for us and the team. And I think that's improved the team culture and the team morale as well, because they know what's expected of them. They've got clear goals. And we have, regular catch-ups with them, and they know what to expect now in the meetings that we have with them once a week, and they take accountability.
We've also hired a new consultant.
Right.
We used a lot of the modules, the
Resources,
support in Rocket to help us do that.
Great, brilliant. So new team members expanded the team, and also, as you're saying, then it is about the culture, isn't it? And people being accountable comes from having that clear direction, as you're saying, and clear responsibility. Like, do I actually know, as that individual, what's expected of me? And as you're saying, we're keeping that simple rather than overcomplicating it with too many key success factors or too many KPIs, or, you need to do this and you need to do that. And also, you guys have very much aligned your model, haven't you, in the way that you work, putting people, making sure people are working in their flow areas.
Yeah. So we're not 360. We're running a 240 model at the moment.
And how's that working for you?
Well, the proof is there, isn't it? Like one of our consultants has absolutely smashed it. So yeah, really well.
Yeah, good. And that was moving which part of the process away?
So she's delivery and account management, effectively.
Right.
It was taking away the candidate sourcing part of the role.
Yeah, which, it's very lengthy, isn't it? It can take a long time. And it's totally different skill set to delivery and warm business development. Brilliant. So from a personal perspective for you guys, how has your mindset shifted since you've come back to the program?
A lot clearer, in that we have a clear picture of what we want to achieve and how we can achieve it. More focused, definitely.
Yeah.
More positive is the key thing for me.
Yeah.
I feel like we know what to tweak now. There's a massive area of opportunity that we're only just starting to dip into. And I think the fan club messaging and actually keeping in touch with our network, which we've spent years building, there's so much opportunity in that, which we haven't really explored. So that's something that's exciting for me.
Yeah, that's really interesting, bearing that in mind in this sort of time, if you like, where a lot of people, I think there are a lot of recruitment businesses, and you might have felt this before you came back and joined us, where a lot of recruitment businesses think that I need to go and win lots of new clients, or I need to have these sort of shiny tools that are going to generate me this consistent flow of brand new clients, because I just haven't got enough in my ecosystem or in my world. And actually, what they don't realize is how the depth of what is potentially sitting right in front of them in the business right now that is already there, that they can access and grow.
Yeah, when you talk about business development, everyone assumes that it's new business
Yeah.
development, but actually smarter business development is about going for the easy wins rather than the challenging ones.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%. Because they're closer to you, aren't they?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, they know us, they know our numbers.
Yeah. Brilliant. Gentlemen, what would you say are the biggest lessons that you've learned throughout this whole process so far?
Like always try and get as much support as you can. Just because you're a founder or a leader or a director or whatever of the business, it doesn't like you don't have to do it on your own. Like it's good to go out and get support.
Yeah, don't be afraid to ask for help.
Yeah, exactly. Sometimes that's the bigger, braver thing to do, isn't it? To acknowledge, well, maybe actually I need some support here to get me back to where I need to be.
Well, keep it simple, be consistent.
Yes.
Yeah. Clear direction.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, keep it simple and be consistent. Yeah, I love that.
And mindset.
And mindset. So looking forward for you, gentlemen, and the business, what are your goals for the next 12 months?
So we want to hit our £1 million revenue
NFI,
target.
Yeah.
We're going to grow the team. Yeah, it's going to be really exciting year next year.
Wonderful. Sounds great. Thank you. And well, I mean, we super look forward to supporting you to getting there and beyond that. What advice, sort of wrapping up what we've talked about, what advice would you give to other recruitment business owners who are or could be facing similar challenges to what you were, only a few months ago? What would be your advice?
Well, to get involved with centered excellence. I mean, we can't underestimate the volume of resources that you guys have. Yes, there's the coaching and there's the calls, but there's also all of that rocket and accelerator platform with all the modules and all the handouts and all the ideas and processes that are just there, that you have access to. It's just incredible, and has really helped us to transform our business in a positive way.
Yeah, it's the second time round, and in some ways you don't think it can get any better, but since we took a break, the way you guys have developed the course and changed it and added to it has made a massive difference to us and our business.
Great. Brilliant. Well, thank you both so much, Mark and Will. Thank you for sharing your story. And your journey, and it just shows the power, doesn't it, of focus, consistency, overcoming challenges and achieving growth. So for anyone listening to this, remember, it's not about perfection. It's about making progress and getting the right support. And Mark and Will, we continue and very much wish you all the very best as you continue on that journey. And guys, if you're listening, I really hope you walk away believing that you could do the same thing. So ask yourself, what's the one thing that really stood out from today's conversation for me that I can implement into my business? And if you want the shifts in your business, if you want the same shifts that these guys are getting with less time and energy, those simple systems, tactics that will grow your business and create more abundance with less stress and work, then reach out to us. And if you want the plan of how Will and Mark are getting their business or have got their business to that 1 million turnover, just click on the link below this video and we will show you how you can also leverage your own business through more opportunities. So just click on the link and we will give you the whole plan. So, gentlemen, thank you so much again. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you. Thanks, Katie.
And we'll see you again soon. So thanks very much, everybody, and we'll see you soon.